Hello everyone. Today we see numerical on axially loaded members. Axially loaded members are divided into two types. First one is statically determinate structures and second one is statically indeterminate structures. So what is meant by statically determinate structures? If we find the internal forces, stresses or total elongation or contraction produced in the member by using simple static equilibrium conditions and free body diagrams, then that member or that structure is called as statically determinate structures. And if it is impossible to find out the internal forces by using static equilibrium conditions alone, then that structures are called as statically indeterminate structures. A simply supported beam, cantilever beam, overhanging beam are the examples of statically determinate structures. And fixed beam is an example of statically indeterminate structures. So today we see the numerical on statically determinate structures. This statically determinate structure again classified into different types. The first one is, let's consider a structural member or axially loaded member having same cross section throughout its length. Same cross section throughout its length. This is a first type of statically determinate structure. Okay, on which a different forces acting. Let's consider this is a first type of statically determinate structure. It must be homogeneous or heterogeneous. It is made by a single material or different materials. No issue. But its cross section is same throughout its length. Okay, let's consider this is F1, this is F2, this is F3 and this is okay. Second statically determinate structure is like this, having cross-sectional dimensions are not same throughout its length. Okay, here it is again, it is homogeneous or heterogeneous, no issue. But its cross-sectional dimensions are not same throughout its length. This is a second type of statically determinate structure. Okay. Third type of statically determinate structure is like a cantilever. We know what is cantilever beam? A beam having one end is fixed and other end is free, then that beam is called as cantilever beam. Okay, let's consider the axially loaded member like a cantilever, and there are different type of forces acting on it. This is suppose F1, this is F2, this is F3. Okay, again it must be a homogeneous or heterogeneous, no issue. Okay, and third and last type of statically determinate structure is a truss. Okay, and we have to find out the internal forces or their elongation by using the simple static equilibrium conditions or free body diagrams. Okay. In truss, we have to find out the internal forces by using a section method or joint method. So these four are the types of statically determinate structure, and we have to find out the internal forces, internal stresses, its elongation or contraction by using a principle of superposition and free body diagrams. Okay, before studying the principle of superposition, we see Hooke's law. Okay, If we conduct a tensile test on universal testing machine for a ductile material, then up to proportional limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. The statement of Hooke's law is within elastic limit, stress is directly proportional to strain. Okay, then there is one constant, elastic constant, and that constant is called as Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. And that Young's modulus is the ratio of direct stress divided by linear strain. Okay, then we know the formula of direct stress. Stress is internal resistive force divided by cross-sectional area by linear strain. Linear strain is nothing but change in length divided by original length. By rearranging all these terms, we got the formula for Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, and it is P into L divided by A into delta L. Okay, by using this formula, we find out the elongation produced in the member, and that delta L is P into L divided by A into B. Okay. Again, by using principle of superposition, we find out the elongation, total elongation or total contraction produced in that axially loaded member, means from statically determinate structures. Okay, so let's see principle of superposition. What is principle of superposition? Okay, according to principle of superposition, total elongation or total contraction produced in that axially loaded member is the algebraic sum of total elongation in each part, means delta L is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3 plus so on. Okay, and we know what is change in length. Change in length that is nothing but PLAE. Then changing length in first part is P1 L1 divided by A1 P1 plus change in length in second part P2 L2 divided by A2 P2 plus change in length third part P3 L3 divided by A3 E3 and so on. So by using principle of superposition, we have to find out the total elongation or contraction produced in that axially loaded member. But there are some sign conventions. If we consider a free body diagram of axially loaded member, okay, if force is pull type, tensile, then we take positive. And if force is compressive, push type, then we take a negative force. Okay? We use this sign convention at the time of finding the total elongation in that axially loaded member. So let's see a simple steps to solve a numerical on statically determinate structures and axially loaded members. Steps to solve numerical. Okay, our step 1 is draw free body diagram. What is free body diagram? A representation of all type of reactions, forces, movement, couple, act on that body is called as free body diagram. Simple. Let's consider one statically determinate structure having uniform cross section. So first of all, we draw a free body of each member or each part. Okay, let's consider a one statically determinate structure having uniform cross section, and there are different forces acting on that body. This is suppose F1, F2, F3 and F4 having different length and different material. So first of all we apply a static equilibrium conditions. We know summation fx is equal to 0, summation fy is equal to 0 and moment at any point is equal to 0. These three are the static equilibrium conditions. So we apply first static equilibrium condition, summation fx is equal to 0. Use simple sign conventions. A forces goes towards the right side, we take positive, and forces goes towards the left side, we take negative. Simple. So our aim is first of all draw free body diagram of each part. Let's consider this is first part, this is second part and this is third part. Okay, then draw a BD of first part. Okay, simply we take one section in that first part. See left side of forces. If forces goes towards left, we take negative, and forces goes towards right, we take positive. Left side force goes left side. Here we draw this is force, left side goes, it is F1. Then see right side of forces, only for check purpose. If these all forces are equal and opposite to the left side force, then our calculation is true. Okay, then see right side of forces. Okay, if the force is equal and opposite to the left side of force, our calculation is true. We got the internal force in first member, that is P1. Okay, same that equilibrium conditions we apply for second and third member and find out the internal forces in that member. Okay, again we consider a section in second member. See left side of forces, we draw here left side of forces. Suppose this is F2. See right side of forces. Okay, and that is again equal and opposite to the left side of force. We got a internal force in second member, and same for the third member of that statically determinate structure. Okay, again consider section in third member. See left side of forces, see right side of forces, and find out the internal forces in that third member. This is P3. So simply by drawing the free body diagrams and apply static equilibrium conditions, we find out the internal forces in each members. And second, simple, by using the principle of superposition, by applying a principle of superposition, we find out the total elongation or total contraction. We know principle of superposition is total elongation or total contraction, total change in length is equal to change in length, algebraic sum of change in length in each part, that is delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3 plus so on. Okay, again we find out the internal stresses produced in each part. Simply stress is nothing but the internal resistive force divided by cross sectional area. We know the internal resistive force, we know its cross sectional area. By using that simple formula, we find out the internal stresses produced in each part. So simply we see how to solve the numerical, what is statically determinate structures, what is Hooke's law, what is principle of superposition, etc. Okay.